Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Wholesale Hotties, the place where ladies in real estate are talking about real estate. I'm your host and MC for the evening, Sharon Lee Smith, along with my co-host Donda Mullinex. Hey Donda, how are you? And
Good.
my other co-host Monique, who is on the go again. Hey Monique, you look beautiful as usual. And today
Thank you.
our special guest is Nisha Hyde. Nisha, thank you for coming on. Welcome to the show.
Hey, Nisha.
Glad to be here. Thank you. Hey.
Thank you. I'm so glad you could make it and on short
So,
notice. Can you let me start off with
um,
who are you? Where are you located? You know, where is your operation out of? And how did you get started in real estate?
okay. So I'm on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, right on the Louisiana Mississippi line. Literally the coastline, right? The beach. And
Nice.
yeah, so great area. I've been here most all of my life between Louisiana and Mississippi. Yeah, on the bayous and the rivers and all that. So, yeah, real estate. It's crazy. I actually would say I kind of got started in 2019, but I kind of got started a long time ago. Um,
Okay.
really, yeah. So let's see. I'd say I'm 47 now, and I was 23 when I bought my first house on seller finance,
Oh wow.
and we
Okay.
lived in. Yeah, yeah, we lived in it while we rehabbed it. The lady that sold it to me, I was actually looking at two, a place on the river and another one on the bayou, and the one on the bayou, Miss Dottie, she was a retired realtor that had rental properties all over town. And she said she would sell me that one on seller finance. So I sat at her kitchen table and signed a purchase agreement and gave her 5 grand and moved. Well, I couldn't move into it right away because it was a mess. But we actually we brought a bunch of our friends brought their sailboats and we all camped in the backyard while we opened the whole place out and pressure washed it with bleach. It was in the concrete, and so we pressure washed the whole house inside and out. And my friend had won a Marlboro pallet of seafood, and so we camped for like 2 weeks and grilled and cooked. You know, had tons of seafood and started on that house. So I
Oh
lived
wow.
in it for 4.5 years while we remodeled it and added on and fixed the sewage and ran central heat and air and all that. Had a wood burning stove for the first winter. And yeah, it was something else. And so that house, I actually rented it out 3 months before Hurricane Katrina. And
Oh wow.
we were gonna buy his parents' house. Yeah, yeah. 3 months before Hurricane Katrina, I rented out. It was on the water, so of course it got 32 foot of water. And so we were gonna buy his parents' house, which was in Waveland, Mississippi, close to the beach, about a block off the beach. And
Mhm.
so we redid the guest house and we moved into it while we rented our house out. And then Hurricane Katrina hit, and there was 32 foot of water there. So that our house was destroyed, and the house that we were going to buy from his parents was gone. It was literally gone. Yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, that I guess all that ties into we had a construction business for years. My dad had an HVAC business, which is air conditioning and heating.
Yeah.
Um, and so I'm used to the entrepreneurial lifestyle, right? Starting businesses and knocking down walls, and then of course, after Katrina, we rebuilt. I didn't want to rebuild on the water, but in order to be eligible for all the grants, I had to rebuild there, and it came out really nice. I built basically it looked like it was done from the outside. It took me 27 days to get it up and hardy siding It looked like it was complete from the outside, but it was really just a shell, right? No
Right.
electrical, plumbing, or any of that inside yet. And I went to work at the Housing Resource Center as a project manager and a construction estimator, and got one last grant to finish the house. And I ended up selling that in the middle of COVID. And that kind of leads into how this all started. I made a deal with an investor on my house in 2019 that he would pay, we would renovate and we would sell it on market. Basically, he was doing a novation with me.
Yeah.
Knew what a novation was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he had an event coming up. So part of the deal was that right about the same time I contacted him on my house, I had saw a fortune builders thing come up through my newsfeed, and we went to a seminar.
Yep.
And it basically told us about wholesaling, right? Put it under contract, sell the contract. And my friend, Mr. Leonard, contacted me from Texas, and he asked me if I wanted to buy the little camp down the road. It was his, and his son lived in it. And so I knew enough to know that I needed to get a contract signed, right? And so I put the camp under contract, and then I made the deal with Adam on my house, Adam Johnson, who's out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi. So anyway, he had a big event going on that was coming up. And so part of the deal was tickets to this event. And it was at the Beauvirage Casino for 3 days. Steve Trang and Brent Daniels and all the best. That was October of 2019. So my first little deal, the camp, ended up burning down. We never could get the sun out of it, and he burned it to the ground. And we did the deal on my, yeah, it's crazy. And we did the deal on my house, and it took longer than it should have. And by the time we put it on market to resell, COVID had started, and everybody was scared, right at the beginning. And so anyway, I sold the house in the middle of COVID. Well, the guy that did the deal with me on my house, and his father had been, he's one of those old school white-haired investors, and he had basically been doing real estate his whole life, right? And him and Pace were going to have a creative finance event in New Orleans, and it got canceled because of COVID. And that's how I discovered who Pace Morby was. And so kind of from the time I watched that Fortune Builders thing and went to a seminar and made the deal on my house to October of 2020, I was watching YouTube, right? Like everybody, watching different things, Jerry Norton and Max Maxwell. And so October 2020, I joined Sub 2. And so I've been in there a minute, and then I closed my first actual wholesale deal, right? Which ended up being a mobile home park that came in on one of my bandit signs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I wholesaled that to the girl that runs the RIA meetings locally. And it's right here in Gulfport, Mississippi, actually, where I'm at. And then, I started studying. I resonated with Pace most, right? Because I was already a little familiar with creative finance, and that there were other options, and that I needed more tool belt if I was really going to help people and buy more properties for cash flow, right? So yeah, that's, it's kind of a long story, right? And it's not even all of it, but yeah, I've done a bunch of different things, right? We ran Facebook ads. We did it again. Had the band signs, and worked on no equity for about 1.5 years, and pre-foreclosures. And now I've always wanted tiny house developments, like communities, right? Tree houses on the river, tiny houses, all that. Yeah. And so, part of me growing up around contractors and developers and investors, it's only natural for me to develop and want to do value add repositioning. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm raising capital, and I'm going to Puerto Rico to do it. Of course, my home markets, I'm always going to be open to those, right? From Slidell, Louisiana, Mississippi Gulf Coast, Alabama, Gulf Shores, Alabama, and the Panhandle of Florida, and of course Southwest Florida. But yeah, I'm going to go focus my attention on Puerto Rico and develop basically eco community where I sell some of them and retain some, and then tree houses up on the river and grow some mushrooms and some honey and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, that's about it. Oh, a gator. Gator too. I forgot that. Yeah, so I'm in Gator too. Yeah, since it began, and I didn't even know they had a Facebook page till probably about a year and a half ago, and I joined that. And but anyway, I guess that just kind of ties in, right? It's a journey.
I think it's funny that you say honey and beekeeping and then growing mushrooms, because I'm a beekeeper. I sell honey, soaps, lotions, and lip balms on the weekend, and my boyfriend's a mushroom grower.
Oh, wow. I love it. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's amazing.
Common people here.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, y'all got to come. Yeah, so it's funny because in all of that, in 2020, I saw Jerry Norton, right? Went to Puerto Rico, and I started looking then. Hurricane Maria had hit in 2017, and by the time Jerry was going, it was only 3 years later, right? And he was in Palmas del Mar, and I wanted to go then. I almost shifted gears. And, the thing is that I wish that's part of that mindset thing, right? I wish I would have had more faith in myself and in what I was doing, that I would have shifted into what I wanted to begin with.
Yeah.
However, I do believe everything happens for a reason, right? And all that and everything that I've gone through, I needed it, right? To be able to be a closer, be able to structure deals, be able to raise capital, and all the things that it's going to take to do this next chapter.
Yeah. Do you have property identified already that you're going to start developing?
I do. Yeah. It's 176 acres on the southeast side of the island with a river through it. And I'm raising the capital now. And hopefully we'll close on it. I don't know. And then we'll see. Right. I'll keep my eyes open. There's a few things I'm working on, but the 176 acres is the main thing.
How are you going to develop that? How are you going to develop that 176 acres? So is it like all tiny homes, or do you have like a whole plan?
Yeah, I got a whole plan. So there would basically. So there's a whole plan, right? Tree houses on the river, some that are going to be a little more primitive and like dry cabins, right? And a bathhouse, and then more luxury cabins. And that's to get the cash flow going, and I'll keep those, right? Now, there's a whole plan with the mushrooms and the spores and the bees and the plantains. I kind of glossed over those. They're not as sexy, right? Plantains. but there's 2,000 trees there already, and we'll plant 5,000 more. There's 14 to 16 acres at the top of the hill that's it's cleared already. And it needs to be surveyed and parceled out. And I'm going to do 16 eco houses there. I'm going to sell 10 of them. And retain 6 so that we can control the HOA and the value, have community gardens and keep it in line with what we're doing. So that'd be the first one, right? And we'll sell some. And then as far as the tree houses go, that we'll do retreats and, all that stuff.
Funny, she just wants to join us.
Yeah,
I know. She's like hyper right now. Oh,
she's really
she got her.
I'm sorry. Nisha.
So, Nisha, what kind of retreat are you talking about? Are you going to do like retreats?
Yeah. So when
keepers, and then sometime a mushroom one.
Yeah. all that stuff, yoga and seminar, fire cooking and wellness and herbal retreats, all that. And really, we can host it, right? We'll be able to host others that want to come in and do their retreats there. So it doesn't always have to be us putting on the retreat. We can put on a couple and bring in somebody for breath work and meditation and, do fire grilling and then, have the cabins and all, or maybe bring in a
My
yoga
gosh,
instructor.
you've got quite an amazing array of what you're putting together there. That sounds like quite the retreat.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, in my mind that it can be done on a small scale too, right? Like I'm looking at 18 units that I would do kind of like a boutique style wellness, right? Center. Same kind of thing, but on a small scale, right? With 18 units. And that one's got a commercial space. I don't know what's going to happen with that. It was on market. That offer didn't get accepted, and I'm waiting till he decides he wants to sell again. Anyway, he took it off the market, and so I'm looking at others, but I particularly wanted that one. But same thing, right? It would be in line with sustainable living and regenerative and all that.
That's awesome. And so you're talking about HOA too. So you're talking about like a whole community planning thing. Where are you talking almost like a cooperative living or more like just HOA stuff of where,
like a hybrid community, which is hard to explain, right? Like most people are like, what are you even talking about? Where there's shared spaces, right? The 6 that we retain, they would actually get rented out. We could also host retreats there. It can be its own thing. And then, of course, community gardens, some shared spaces, and things. With the river, there is actually a pump that ups the water up to the top of the mountain on part of it. And it feeds water cisterine, and we could actually do another system to go up there. So maybe tap into the regular water, and maybe we do right and have some containment systems and I think we need to get back to more community.
Freezing up.
Yeah.
You there, Nisha? Uh-oh. I don't know if you can hear us, but you're freezing up a little bit there.
Well, Nisha, hopefully your internet gets back online here. What do you girls think about that, right? What do you think about pooling resources, essentially, right? That's what she's talking about is, raising private capital to come together to create this community where, they've got a grower, they've got, beekeepers, they've got, growing your own food and just coming all together to live life together on one big plot of land.
I think I would like to do it for at least part of the year, even just for a couple months to go do it, and then her having those rentals, I think is a great idea because it's like, I want to rent it for a month. We're going to go do that for a month, during whatever season, what events. And then I know Jerry Norton and his wife do a lot of couples retreats and stuff. I mean, what a neat place to have something like that, get to stay in the tree house and I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I love the idea of pockets of those type of communities. I think it's becoming more and more popular and more and more well known. A lot of people still aren't aware that this is happening and they don't understand it. But as it becomes more into the mainstream, people are going to be more understanding and like, oh, wow, this is way cool. And I want to do this rather than, is that a commune, type of thing. It's not. It's an actual. People are building communities where people get to live in nice little ecosystems almost, and even the retreat idea that she has is just so, it just sounds very peaceful.
Yes.
And it sounds like there's a lot of choices. So you're not going someplace and like, oh, I'm bored. There's a lot
Right.
of choices that she's putting in. She's dynamic and she's like excited and she's like really into this to the point where you can tell that her personality can probably really bring out something very energetic, I guess,
Yeah.
because of her personality in and of itself and running it, So I feel like if she can, especially if she can theme it or do something that really target towards a certain group of people, that will
Yeah.
be much more successful for her, and she can really see some. I think people are going to gravitate. We're all on the internet so much, and then when we have those pockets of things where we can either go to or live in, where it's reality and it's people, it's connectivity.
Right.
We're thriving for that, especially as AI becomes more and more predominant, and robots and
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, right? If you look at anthropology and civilizations throughout the centuries, right? Your local community groups are typically between 150 to 200 people, right? Which is fairly small in the grand scheme of things.
Correct.
This is the first generation where the internet has broadened our horizons into a one world economy and a one world civilization, really. And so I think there's a lot of people that are gravitating back towards, hey, let's have a community that is self-sustaining, self-sufficient, where everyone works together, almost like a commune, but not like cultish, right? More like, hey, we're going to do life together because we all believe fundamentally in this, these values or this system of whatever, right? And when you're a lone wolf and you're trying to live, off the grid or away from the mainstream society, just because it's crazy, right? All this stuff in the news today, right? Is with all these shootings and all this war and all these things, right? So you want to maybe separate yourself from that, but as an individual, you can't grow all the things and build all the things and do all the things. It's like this never-ending struggle. You have to have community, right? You have to have the blacksmith. You have to have the baker. You have to, right? In order to really thrive, right? Not that, blacksmithing nowadays, I don't know, maybe we'll go back that far. I don't know, but realistically. And so the idea of these self-sustaining communities, I think it's a wonderful idea. And as you were saying, Monique, right? The world kind of opens us up a little bit where each individual, we can potentially collaborate with each other. And different people might be able to, visit this community for a few months and that community for another couple months or whatever, right? And it really changes the dynamic of the world, I think, in a beautiful way.
Absolutely. And I think that, back in the, there's a lot of differences. People have differences, and you think, oh, well, that's just going to cause friction because one person's going to think this way, and but what happens, I believe, is you start getting in a community that there's a certain,
right, like
almost like a culture that you're building, similar to at my company, as a culture I'm building. So those that don't fit in that culture aren't going to stay. They don't want to stay. They want to go to a different culture, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. I'm just like building that culture of what is going to work in that particular community and knowing this is something that I like or this is something I don't like, and everybody's different and could definitely open up a big different. I like what you said, Sharon. We're going from different communities.
Yeah, because I have a lot of different likes and dislikes, right? And so maybe that community's focused on this particular thing.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll hang out there for a couple months and contribute as much as I can. And then but that community is more focused on this other thing. And that's interesting to me, right? Me and my ADHD would love to do this, right? And me and my nomad lifestyle would also love this, Right. So, I think that you're right, Monique, is that people generally will gravitate to the communities that most align with their beliefs and values. And then there's the anomalies like me that will travel among them because we love it all, know? Anyway,
Yeah.
hey Nisha, glad you're back. Your internet lost you for a little bit, but we're so glad you can reconnect. We were just discussing this idea of these eco communities and how, you know, people are really enjoying that idea lately. I've heard a lot more about it.
Yeah, it seems like it, right? I see the more I talk about it, the more I see it pop up and see other people doing things that are similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
And I think, Anisha, we were just talking about your personality, and you have such a dynamic, energetic personality about you, and all the things that you have shared to infuse into your community and what it can do. I think that in and of itself is a big deal. The fact that you have that energy, you'll bring it to the community, which will make it more enticing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just the variety of stuff you have going on. I mean, there's just a lot that I would love to go and just learn about the different things. And you know, I've never been a beekeeper, been around, and I love bees and I love bumblebees and all that good stuff. But it'd be fun just to kind of experience that for a little bit, and then to go see how the plantains and learn about that. And yeah, I love that idea. I think it's great what you have going on. The tree houses we've talked about multiple times. Just the creativity you can be with them, depending on what the tree shapes are and it's just what a fun, unique piece of property that I don't know. I think you have a great idea.
I hope I conveyed it enough that you could visualize, right? That's been maybe one of the challenges, right? Is trying to not visualize it necessarily, but try to convey it to others, right? Put it in pitch decks, put it in investor dashboard, write executory summaries to describe not just numbers, right? But everything else that goes along with it.
Vision.
Yeah.
The vision, the dream. Yeah.
Yeah, because if you bring that all together and people can see it, they're more apt to want to invest too. That's how you get those investors. And I know you're working with some family offices, right? That are really wanting to get involved in these communities. So there's a lot of Nisha's very good at creatively finding lenders and stuff.
Yeah, so I wasn't always right, learning. I'm like, oh, we need to do this. We need to pitch to IRAs. We need to call second position lien holders and public record. We need to build relationships, which that's the thing, right? I think once the last couple of years putting more emphasis on the money and becoming more intentional with networking and getting more creative on how to bring in different types of money for different types of deals, right? Like this one is not going to cash flow day one. And it's a development, and it's agricultural part also with retreat and, tree houses. And then you've got some actual eco development houses, right, that you're going to build. And so figuring out how you're going to pay those returns and where you're going to go for the money, right, that fits that kind of project. And then what's the plan, right? Refinance, stabilize it, sell off part of it, refinance, so all of that. But I've discovered, there's a couple other ways to go get the capital. And I'm glad at this point I put more, once I put more emphasis on networking and just people want to be a part of something, right? And some people have the money and they want to be able to deploy it with somebody they trust. And some people have the ideas and the opportunities, and it can be put together, right? And so I think it's like a mindset thing too, right? Not just the knowledge of learning and the different types of money you can go get, but how you can deploy that into what you're doing.
Yeah.
Nisha, you talk about we a lot. Is that meaning you have partners that are doing this with you, or you have a mouse in your pocket, or just a little puppy dog? Like us.
I have two daughters. I do have a dog, and I do have 2 daughters, and
not a mouse in your pocket, though. I hope.
No mouse in my pocket. I've got a helper, an assistant that's been with me for years. And my,
And you
best
also have
friend.
a school community, don't you? Can you tell us a bit about that?
I just started it. Yeah. So I started it because I was already looking for somewhere to kind of host mentoring, because I had several people ask me about one-on-one mentoring, and then I thought, well, I started working in AI, right? And I'm like, okay, I've been a coach and a closer for the Nobody Left Behind Challenge and a leader in Sub 2. And I'm putting together the meetup in Hattiesburg. It might have to be virtually because I'll be gone. But January 19th, there'll be a meetup. Pace is coming to Mississippi, right, in his thing. And I'm going to put that all together. But point is that I've tried to help people. I've tried to train people. I've written scripts. I've told them, I can pay referral fees. I can JV. I can do this, that. And the thing is that I'm always trying to do that for free. And I don't have the time, right? I don't have all the time to do that I would like. And I also didn't have a place to put it. I'm like, I could put mini courses there. Some of them could be free. Some of them could be the upsell to one-on-one mentorship, or at least, with them joining the community, they get Q&As once a week, right? And other things and opportunities. And so I basically wanted to lay out some basics. It doesn't matter where you are. Like, not everybody knows how to take advantage of implementing AI in their calendar, and just get better at scheduling and being more intentional with their time and networking. And I just wish all these things would have been laid out in some kind of study guide for me, right? And so I thought, well, I can lay it out here. And then so I just started it, and there we go.
No, that's so needed. I know getting into real estate and even being in it, I feel like I'm never organized enough. I feel like there's just, it's like patience.
Right?
I'm not organized enough.
I know.
Well, that's being a business owner.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm still not organized enough, but it's helping, right? Like setting up meetings, keeping a CRM, keeping track of the people I talk to. What are they doing? What do they want to do, right? And just being open to that, a collaborative spirit, right? Like, kind of, I guess, I don't know why I say we, because it's me. But even like the guy that's selling me the land in Puerto Rico, the 176 acres, he's amazing. And he's got amazing energy. And he was going to develop the property and do something similar. And so we had originally talked about potentially partnering on it. And then it came to, I'm just going to buy it. But still, at the same time, right, I developed a relationship with him, and he's in my corner, whether, regardless. However, so I guess there's a bunch of we's, right, in a way. Yeah.
Are you still doing the wholesaling of properties and stuff? Are you still like bringing in income wholesaling and the opportunities come along, you said?
I am, and I wholesaled a hybrid deal a couple months ago, so I'm not doing. It's hard, right? Because I'm spreading myself between developing mini courses and the school thing, and raising large amounts of capital for the project in Puerto Rico. And at the same time, I run a wholesale operation, right? And I was doing for about 4 months, I was doing Facebook ads with someone else and building out some systems and building some stuff out. And I'm kind of nurturing and tapering off of some of those leads. And it gets to a point, where I have people bringing me stuff, and I want to be more of the buyer, right? I have more access to capital now. So I want to control the lead flow, so I make sure the numbers are right and I can structure it the way it needs to be. but I want to be more intentional with what I look at because I want to be the buyer if possible, right?
Yeah.
I want to start looking at it that way and not necessarily wholesaling. So if I'm controlling my lead flow, then some of them are going to get wholesale, right? And it would be nice though to taper it back where it's just I'm working on these 4 projects, I'm raising capital, and I'm doing value add repositioning of a 6 unit and a development, and I'm actually the wholesaling is going to end up getting phased out. I don't know because I might run ads and do dual marketing and all that while I'm branding, and it gets to a point now where a lot of leads are just come to me, right? I have agents, I have a commercial broker. Yesterday we looked over like 6 different potentials, and they're not in Puerto Rico. I have another agent, I have a good relationship with. I'm looking at a few that he brought. So I mean, at this point, I have people bringing things to me, right? So I just need to be more. I need to be more intentional on what I give my time to, and trying to be more diligent about sharing buy boxes and target markets, so that I'm not getting bombarded with things that are outside of what I need to be focused on, right? To
Yeah.
actually gain more traction. Yeah.
So you talked about AI
Yeah.
also. Are you still doing AI, Nisha, or is there anything in AI that you would like think that people need to know about that you kind of discovered?
Yeah, I do actually. Some people, I'm going to do a small mini course in there on AI and how we can use it to help us streamline our business, right? Doesn't matter if it's real estate or what it is. But the thing is most people don't even know much about signing to get and what the capabilities are, right? Like someone told me the other day, oh, I rather Google. And I was thinking, well, Google is just a search engine, bring you 2 things, you know, and AI can develop courses, you can translate ideas or deals, or like to give an example of something it does for real estate. I had a deal come in, it had a mortgage on it and it had some equity, so it was going to be a hybrid deal. But I know that's a little confusing for some. But taking over the mortgage and then creating another mortgage for the equity portion of it. And so that deal, I put it in when it first came in, and it was a lead, and into my thread in Perplexity in the AI program. And I asked it, what is the neighborhood like? What are the details on this property? And then I uploaded a copy of the mortgage statement and what I had talked to the seller about. And then through that whole deal, I worked that whole thing from lead to close deal with the title company, and did everything in that one thread in AI, including the addendums, right? I had to write up addendums to make changes to the contract. I did it in there. It gave me what I needed. I copied and pasted, created a document, and had it sent out for signature. I'm lucky. Now I have another assistant who is helping me with paperwork, right? And so at the time, I don't remember exactly, but either way, point is that you can comp, you can underwrite, you can do deep market research, um, anything you could think of, right? You could talk to it about, this is where I live and I'm just getting into real estate. What would be the best things for me to do to streamline this? I only have an hour and a half a day and Saturdays that I can start trying to contribute to my business. What should I focus my time on? Like, this can help with all of that.
Yeah, I love
All
that.
of it.
What was your time
Very
frame
good tips.
with that property when you put it in to the time you were ready to have the docs? What time frame were you looking at for that?
That particular one took me like, I was hoping to close it in 14 days, but there was issues, and then the seller left the country, and there had to be, like an e-closing. I forget what they call it, but anyway, it ended up taking, I think, like 32 days from the time the lead came in till we closed it.
But your time with AI generating all that stuff for you, was that like within a day? That got you all that information?
Well, no, I did it through the whole thing, right? So a lead comes in and I put it in there in a thread. And so a thread can be multiple questions. They call them queries. And I can put, as I'm working through it, and then next thing you know, I'm like, I need to fill out a contract. Give me the parcel number and everything I need to send over to the transaction coordinator so that they can fill in the contract. And then it gives me everything I need, and I send that over. And so this is through the whole course of working through it. I did it that way, not only because it helped streamline everything and it helped in general, but that I could show what it took. Because I told it, I said, go back through the thread and extract the actual process and what it took from lead to close this thing. Right? And now I can use that as how to close a hybrid deal.
Yeah, format.
What are the
checklist. You can put a checklist together and put that in your school, and
yes.
I love that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What a great tool for you to be able to share with people.
Yeah, so look, I have a link I can send where they can sign up for Perplexity. It's $20 a month for the pro account, and then it's like $200 a month for this more advanced account. I have the $20 a month account. I also upgraded ChatGPT to the $20 a month account. So both of them I have paid. They do different things, but yet they can work hand in hand. And that's another thing. I'm like, what's the highest and best use for me as a real estate investor to use Perplexity? And it'll tell me everything that it's capable of. And I can say, okay, well, what can I do with ChatGPT and how do they work hand in hand? And then it'll spit all that out. Like, it's amazing. It really is.
So it'll give you its own instruction manual.
Yes.
Gold nuggets,
Yeah.
ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
And you can personalize both of them, right? You can go into the settings and you can personalize it. I'm a 47-year-old female. I'm going to develop eco retreats. I'm focused on raising large amounts of capital. This is what I'm doing. This is what I've done. And you basically put a persona in there. And then also as you're searching and you're doing these threads, it's getting to know you. If you want, you can turn off the memory setting. But I have it on because I wanted to remember. And the other day I said, I specifically want you to remember, I'm doing these kind of projects. This is the type of capital I'm going for. I am raising capital from IRAs, people that want to develop cash flow, right, for their retirement. And we're pooling those together and we're creating one note on the property. And then we're letting all of them invest in that one note so they can be a part of the project, right? And their profits and all that roll back into their IRA. And so that's one type of lender. And really, I have a guy, Mike Rosica. We made friends. He has a retirement cash flow. And he's been doing it for 30 years. And that's specifically what he does. They buy notes and they show how to create cash flow by using your retirement accounts, 401ks, and rolling them into IRAs and loaning on real estate. So that's one way to look at it, right? And that's a great lender for bigger projects like this. And then, of course, family offices, like you mentioned earlier, the family offices want to get behind. You think about it. If you've got money and you need to lend it to something in real estate, and you're managing wealth, well, you want to be the one that says, "Oh yeah, I'm part of that 176-acre eco development in Puerto Rico," and right?
Yep, it's part of your portfolio and becomes reputation building for you. Yep.
Plus, it can be the
Yeah.
pot can be
Yeah.
sweetened by giving them time, a week time span in the
Right.
system or in the at the
Yeah,
place.
there's all,
Their company
it's
annual
funny you say
retreat.
that.
Yeah.
I started, yeah, and I was searching that even in AI. I was saying, what other things can I give? So I'm doing an investor dashboard for the 176 acres, and inside of it, people can fill out a letter of intent. It might be I want to lend some money. It might be I want to rent one of the cabins when you get them done, or maybe I might be interested in purchasing one of the eco houses. And so the investor dashboard, I'm actually creating it through AI.
Is it through Perplexity?
I'll have to send it to y'all when it's done.
Yeah, I would love to
Yes,
see.
that one's through Perplexity. Yeah. Yeah. And I actually have had Scott, my other assistant, working on the actual pitch decks for me and the more advanced ones through ChatGPT and doing the slides. So I'll have both of them to go together, right? But yeah, AI is helping. Of course, I'm having to feed the information in there and the numbers and all that, but it's laying it out for me in a way that makes visualizing it a lot easier, right, for everybody. And so that they can think, oh, yeah, I want to be a part of that, right?
So
Yeah.
are you building like a Facebook page too for it so people can kind of?
Yeah, I haven't started, but yeah, I'm gonna do Facebook, Instagram, tie them in. We're gonna start doing, marketing and branding, right? Showing what we're doing, creating a lore, documenting the whole process. From me packing stuff up to us heading to Puerto Rico, the whole thing. We'll show the whole thing, right? Because I think it'd be great to show, let people come along and get to see, regardless whether they are able to, they can be a part of it in some way, even if all they're doing is watching it.
Exactly.
Just watch
Yeah.
you and see what you're doing so that they can kind of mimic what you're doing somewhere else.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah.
Or take parts of that out, right? Like that's so
Yeah.
like with the school thing. Come in there, we talk. Everybody's got a different journey and everybody has different visions, right? And if somebody wants to do something like me, yeah, of course they can mimic it, or I guess I'm creating a path right now, right? A path to it's not impossible, and we can really go do anything we want. But maybe, someone else wants to have a wholesaling business, or they want to have rentals in their hometown or whatever, right? That was kind of why I put the school thing together, was not just to have the mini courses and lay out like a study guide, but to actually, I'm going to do like blueprint sessions. Like, what do you have? How much time do you have? What resources do you have access to? What are your goals? What do you want to do? And like lay out action steps and an actual blueprint for them, right?
Really
I'll
help
have
them
2
actually
levels.
take action. That's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. And then of course AI will help. I mean, I'll have to, take their information and use my head, but I can put it in there and tweak it until it creates what I want. That's probably the most frustrating thing sometimes, is putting it down and tweaking it until it's what I'm actually trying to get out of it.
And Nisha, do you think that
Getting stuff out of your head's the hardest part? Yes. Sorry, go ahead, Marie.
it's okay? And Nisha, if somebody else is out there and they're seeing you what you're doing and what you're creating, and they're like, wow, this girl knows what she's talking about, but I'm a little bit green on it. I haven't done this yet. So could they like even call you up and say, okay, I know your time frame, you're like, that's why you put school together, but I mean, you could even potentially get equity in property, other people's deals, to consult with them and guide them and help them put together raising the capital, buying the property, and putting that whole community together. I mean, that's something that maybe, I don't know if they're open to that, but maybe that's something you'd be interested in even kind of opening the door to.
Yeah, it's funny because I kind of started, I like the consulting role, right? Because I guess, it's my thing, right? I can kind of see what the plan is and what's there and what needs to be done to turn it into something, and actually, I mean, kind of look at it from afar. But yeah, I actually, can pretty damn good at structuring deals. So if it was something we needed to raise capital, or it would probably need to fit a little in line with some of my markets, right? So I'm not getting, but it just depends what they need, right? They can contact me, actually direct message me. I'm not great about checking Instagram. I need to get better, right? And I haven't done much on there yet, but I'm going to. But I was going to say, as far as like networking, they don't have to join school to get a call with me, right? Like we can do a Zoom meeting or an actual call. And then, of course, if they want to have more time, or they want to actually be able to submit something or talk to me about, something else, then maybe they would want to come in there. But I'm always open to at least a 30-minute conversation and networking. I don't think we put enough emphasis on.
I was going to say, I think you'd be great for somebody doing their first fix and flip. They need somebody with experience and knowledge, and you can just walk them through those steps. Like, hey, this is how we run the numbers, and you ran the numbers, and this does make sense. And if not, hey, this is what it should be. Go back and see if you can negotiate this back to this price, and give them the homework to do with live deals, and then you become part owner, or get a percentage when it sells or whatever.
Or just a fee, right? I actually the hybrid deal, the last wholesale deal, the buyers ended up paying me a consultant fee to do their side too, right? Get them set up and get it all done. So I actually got paid a consultant fee on that one that I wholesaled to them to set it up for the buyers and take their half too. Yep. Yeah. So yeah, any of that.
Love it.
Yeah.
There's so many creative ways in real estate. People just don't even have a clue, really.
Yeah.
You just think, oh, you're a
it's funny you say that.
Yeah, you think of like 2 or 3, most people, and especially when they first get started. But once you get in this community, you realize, it's just,
and you can be an expert in your little niche, right?
Yeah.
Like go to everyone reaches out to you for information in your little spot, but then there's all this other stuff. You know,
you don't fit in there, then you can connect with somebody else. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's funny, you say that because I took a training on debt funds. We can go into that another time. But I took a training, Sharif Medawar's training last year on debt funds. And when I logged in, I realized that I had taken that training before. And I was like, I knew he looks familiar. And I actually took the training in 2022. But I was not ready for the information at the time, right? I didn't see it the same way I saw it in 2024. So 2 years later, I take the same training and it registers in a different way, right? Because we're all on a different journey, on different levels, and sometimes we're not ready for the information.
Yeah.
Right? We can't see it.
It's a growth and evolution. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like watching a movie. You watched it one time, and then 2 or 3, 4 times later, you're like, I don't remember.
I totally missed that scene.
How did I miss that? How was I?
I must have fallen asleep.
Right. But you're right. You weren't ready for that, and then as you grow in your journey, then you found that this makes way more sense. This is the time I needed it, but it was something in the back of your mind that you always had enough knowledge that it kept, enough information that when you were ready to go into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you think too, when you're ready and you start talking about these things more, and even writing about it, journaling about it, working in an AI, talking to other people. It's just things start aligning, right? And things start coming up. Like the family offices. I knew that there was potential to borrow capital from family offices and that would be one of the ways I should definitely go. And then I was talking to someone about him in more detail, and he's like, "Yeah, you need to." He mentioned a name. I can't think of the guy's name right now, but he organizes events and workshops for high net worth individuals and family offices. And he's like, "Yeah, they're happy with 4 and 6% returns." And they just want to be able to put their money somewhere where it's safe, right? And they're getting steady returns that are more than the money market. And so basically, I'd say about 3 weeks after that conversation, I had put somebody in sub 2 sent me a screenshot of a comment I had made about eco retreats and hybrid developments. And he's like, "I want to hear more about Puerto Rico." Well, we had a meeting. And what was the first thing he said? He said that he organizes events for family offices and high net worth.
Boom.
And so it was just ironic that it found me. What I was looking for found me, right? Yeah.
That's the way it always is, though, right? It's all about vibration, right? And what you're looking for will come to you.
Yeah, and you got to talk about it. You
Yeah.
You can't keep it a secret. If you keep it a secret, how is he gonna know? So you sharing what you're wanting to do. Look what an opportunity brought you. These people. So that's awesome.
Which is hard because people get imposter syndrome, or they maybe don't have all the support around them. But that's why it's good for us to network with each other, right? Because we're all going through that in some way or fashion, right? And so we can talk to each other about it, even if we don't have that support in our inner circles, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes doing deals and business so much easier too when you're working with other people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Sure does, doesn't it? Having people support you or back you up with the vision too, or they're like, "Oh, she's doing this or she's doing that," right? And they'll send people to you and all of that.
Become private money lenders for you, but you had no clue that you did something or said something, and they reach out to you like, "Hey, I want to lend on one of your deals."
Yeah.
It starts growing like that because so
it really does. Yeah. I have a book. I haven't put it out yet. It's an ebook for investing in Puerto Rico, and I took the cover of that and I pinned it to the top of my Facebook. I still haven't told anybody about it. I didn't upload it to Amazon yet either. But I pinned that cover, and that got a couple of DMs. And one of them was somebody, they're selling their insurance business, and they want to park some money in Puerto Rico. Yeah. So,
Nice.
There you go.
I know, right? Yeah.
Investing in Paradise, a guide to real estate success in Puerto Rico. Yes, I saw that one. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
I need to upload the book with the link and do some more, right? Like, it's fun. And I think when you're passionate, like you were talking about energy, right? When you're passionate about something, it puts off an energy, and everybody wants to get excited.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, I can't believe it. Again, we are at the top of the hour. Nisha, I'm so glad you came on. This was a great conversation about just, everything that you're doing in community and the direction that maybe our society is moving in and all those things. I love it. So
we'll have to have you back on with some more.
Thanks, guys.
Yes.
Yeah. Do it again. Yeah. We can, we have a little more, time. Y'all let me know what you want to touch on, and we can deep dive something else.
That sounds fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Good night. Thanks for coming on, Nisha. Good night, Donna.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.